Hello, everyone. I'm from the Prism team.
Hi there, thanks for having me.
Unfortunately, oh man, I missed out. ETH Denver was great. I really missed out here.
Let me go and fix this one. Sorry, guys. There you go. All right, we should have sound now. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So I was just talking about the DevConnect event, and like if you haven't seen the talks that we had at the staking gathering event, you'll be able to see them there. So we also had like a nice hackathon. Eve Sticker is very glad to promote all of these different tools and people working on the staking tools to make it easier for people to stake on Ethereum. And we had this hackathon at DevConnect where we had a few projects working on their own stuff, and we had three winners. So I just want to quickly mention the three winners that we had at the staking gathering event. The first one was the ETH2 tax project. So they had a small team working on adding Gnosis staking there, and they managed to win 2,000 USDC, which was great for them. We also had like another project called Staker Notifier, where they implemented some SMS notification system for validators. And so they won the second prize, which was 3,000 USDC. And the first place went to the SSV Avabro guys. They added SSV staking to the Avado project. And so they managed to win the 5,000 USDC prizes, which was great for them. If you guys are interested into all of these conferences, you can join the next major one, which is Dev Connect. So if you don't know about Dev Connect, this is like the next major one, which is going to happen in October of this year. Let me paste a link here in the different chat, and let me show you guys what Dev Connect, not Dev Connect, but DevCon is all about here. So let me go ahead and share this. So DevCon is this huge conference. Like DevCon used to be like one of the only conference about Ethereum, but this year there's a bunch of different little small conference, but this one is like the major one. It's gonna happen on October 11 in Bogota in Colombia. So if you guys are interested in joining, make sure to check it out. This is where you'll find like the biggest Ethereum talks and like the plan for what's coming up in the different years. So check these guys out. They're very interesting. I guess the next agenda item would be to talk about Ethereum, and I'll pass it to Stefan to tell us how it goes from there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, continuing with Dev Connect actually, because we also had a blast there with our alpha preview that we showcased to the people visiting our booth there. And we got some really amazing feedback on what we showed to the people, and we already processed the feedback and got something into the next version. Also, the hackathon was pretty cool to watch because there were some different problems, and the teams tried to solve these with really creative ideas. So really glad that I was part of this. Steering will soon have the first beta coming out for the version 2.0. As you may know, version 1 is already released since Genesis of the Beacon chain. It also supports the 4 major consensus clients. But with Ethereum 2, we'll also introduce more execution clients, and the first version of the beta will only support solo staking for now, but we also will look into including SSV, namely Blocks SSV, and maybe also Opal SSV, or maybe even Rocket Pool. So stay tuned for that. It will also include some simple monitoring, like you already know from the Ethereum 1 node. But I actually don't want to spoil too much. So maybe in the next couple of weeks we will see what we can show to you. With the next betas that are coming out after the first one, we will also introduce new features like new internationalization, so making it available to more people that are not that fluent in English to understand how to set up the node and how to run it. And as I heard today, there is some great progress on the Lodestar project, and we're also gonna look into integrating Lodestar. So we hopefully have soon integrated not only 4 but 5 consensus clients. And I think Remy is talking about this later, but just a quick mention, Ethereum is also on the quadratic funding event of the ETH staker community. So you might want to give it a shot there too. And that's from my side. Thank you for having me here today.
Awesome. When you say you guys are working on some new cool feature on monitoring, are you guys developing your own monitoring stuff?
Yes, we also look into that. We want to include some really basic monitoring with Ethereum itself and not rely on Prometheus and Grafana. But Prometheus and Grafana is such a great setup, so we can't actually miss out on this.
Have you guys thought about doing some kind of mobile app as well?
Yes, right. We also have a mobile app that is currently usable with the first version, with Ethereum 1, which will be way more integrated in version 2. But as I said, I don't want to spoil too much.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll wait on you guys to give us more details later on. So let's talk about the CLR found, the quadratic round here. But before I do, there's someone in the chat asking which client does Ethereum use. I think Stefan already mentioned it, but maybe you could just precise it a little more.
Yes, of course. So for the execution client, we currently support only Geth with the version 1. With version 2, which will come out in the next few months with multiple releases in beta, we will also support other execution clients like Nethermind or Aragon. We will look into that, what we want to support, because some of these projects have not been developed that much in the past. So we need to be a little bit careful of what to pick, and not offering something that might break in a couple of months' time with the merge.
Yeah, it's always
And
like
with the
it's a hard
sorry.
decision to go and pick which clients to support when some of them are not very stable.
Yes, and with consensus clients, we currently support Tico, Lighthouse, Nimbus, and Prism, which we will also, of course, support with version 2. And as I said, we're also now looking into Lodestar, because I just got the notification about Lodestar is now a little bit more stable, and having 5 consensus clients is better than 4. So
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about the quadratic founding round from CLR.found, from the Ethereum Foundation, and from the ETH Staker group. So let me go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll check these out. All right, so if you don't know about this, we have this very interesting way of getting founding. Like, one of the main issue when you're trying to develop tools for your own project, like for like a public good tool that just helps people, is how to get founding. And like, this is a great solution to that problem. So EthStaker with the Ethereum Foundation and CLR.founds are hosting this quadratic founding round, where anyone can go ahead and donate money to these projects. But the most interesting part is that the money that you donate will be amplified and matched by this nice pool of money. I believe that there's like 300 53 100 die that is in the matching pool, right? So whenever you give to any of these projects here, your donation will be matched using the found in that pool. So let's say for instance I want to help out Ethereum. All I have to do is come here and click on add to cart, and then eventually I'll be able to connect with my wallet, and I'll be able to do this donation. I believe I first need to be verified on Bright ID. Bright ID is this other project that prevents Sybil attacks. So it managed to tell if you're a unique person that is still alive and still active. And so when we can tell that we have unique people that are sending those signals to support all of these projects and telling other people which projects are worth supporting, we can match those donations with additional fundings. That's the main concept behind the quadratic funding for the CLR fund here. So if you want to support those projects, like that's one of the way to do so, and that's like one of the best way to do so, because this way we can find out which projects are interesting to the people around, and we can help them grow. So Styrium is just one of the different projects that are asking for funds on the CLR quadratic funding around here, but you can see that there's a bunch of other projects around. This project is about data analytics. This is a very nice way to run a node, I guess. This is a node operator association. So there's this nice project called Ethereum on ARM, which we talked previously, that helps you run your own node on a Raspberry Pi. There's this Ethereum leaderboard. So there's a bunch of these projects around. I'm not going to go through all of them, but maybe you're familiar with some of them. We even have like just people doing documentation and guides as well, trying to get funding, because doing guides and documentation can also be a great way to make it easier for people to get started on staking. So make sure to go there. I'll send the link to this website on Discord and in the chat to on the YouTube, to make sure that people know about it. There you go. So this is a very nice project that you should be looking at if you want to financially support all these different groups trying to build a great tool and make it easier for people to get started on staking. The next item on the agenda would be to talk about the staking section on ethereum.org. So ethereum.org just recently updated their website, and they added this very nice section on staking, especially for people to learn how they can stake their own ETH on the network with all the different options, right? So you'll get some nice statistics on how many ETHs are staked right now, how many validators are on the network, but you'll get all of this info and details about why you should be staking, what is staking, how you can get started on staking. And you'll see here they have all of these different options. The first one being the gold standard, which is solo home staking, if you can do it. But if you cannot, it's still worth to consider all the other options out there. Staking as a service, pool staking, and centralized exchanges. This one being like the least interesting one in terms of impact and in terms of the health of the network, but it's still a way that's possible to use to get started on staking. And if you click on this more on solo staking buttons, you'll have even more details on why you should stake solo, what are the different benefits, what are the different considerations that you should be thinking about, what are the different options, how they compare with each others, and what are the different tools that can help you get started on solo staking at home. And so you'll see that Styrium is here, and there's a bunch of other great tools that are described and details with all their pros and cons. So make sure to have a look at the ethereum.org website for all of these details. This is such a great guide. Not only is it great, it's also available in all of these different languages. So like if you have a friend that doesn't speak English and wants to know how to get started on staking, this is like one of the best resources available right now on the internet. So make sure to check it out and see if it can help you for your own needs. Next, we'll talk about the merge prep. So what are the preparations that you should be doing for the merge? And for this, I'll pass I'll pass it up to James to tell us how we should get prepared for the merge.
Hey, thanks, Remy. Um, let's just call this a kickoff um, uh, mention around merge prep. We'll probably definitely have more as we get even closer. But the merge is coming. We completed the fourth shadow fork, and we're getting ready for the test nets. So really exciting. Web3 Signer is supporting Bellatrix. Prism will have that support soon. Teku already has that. So uh, all of the different features are coming. And as soon as we get into the test nets, that's where we'll need all of your help, right? Like everyone needs to help test everything as we move through all of uh, the different test nets. And so one thing that I wanted to bring up was guides around the merge. So Prism, the Prism team will start developing some guides for our usage, but as the community, if you have any merge guides to share, definitely start posting them in the Stakehouse community. It is a little bit early with the test nets coming, but if you know some people that are working on it, definitely point us their way. Um, as a reminder, the merge is not going to lower gas fees, but we know that the merge is coming because there's two future features that's currently being worked on by a lot of people. That's the dank sharding and proto dank sharding, as well as withdrawal. So merge first, then we'll um, get to sharding. So with the merge coming, I just wanted to reiterate some of the key features that's going to be coming with the merge. And Remy, you can definitely chip in here. One, as I talked about in a previous Stakehouse community call, is the fee recipient feature. This is going to allow your consensus client, your validators, to receive these fees or tips that was previously called minor tips. Well, there's no minors anymore. Now they're the validator keys. So how do you get the fees for when you get to create and propose this block? So this is going to be a key feature post merge. And that is also one of the big considerations for solo staking, because wouldn't you want all of your fees? Now, I can't speak for all of the staking pools. You should definitely reach out to your staking pools on how they will handle the fees that you help contribute in verifying. But if you are a solo staker, you sort of get all of those fees to yourself. So definitely one consideration.
And so, just to make sure that people know exactly what you're talking about, like when your validator is proposing a block, you will be getting the fees that are the tips of the transactions included into that block, right?
Correct. So the people that want to get their transactions in, they want to incentivize the validators to include their transactions when their validator becomes the lucky one to propose the block. And so in terms of the fees that are included in, you get, a large portion of that. And that is something that's coming post merge. As you know, right now, the fees that you occur through staking is through the protocol itself. So it's getting added to that 32 ETH amount. And this feature actually will have those fees deposited into an Ethereum address that you provide for staking. So it's very important that stakers are aware of the fee recipient features. We're currently in the process of getting it more user friendly. The most consensus client teams now support this feature for the Bellatrix hard fork, and can be tested out in those test nets as they get released. But for users that use the UI, hopefully there's an easier way to do that. So we also have proposed new APIs for the Team Manager APIs. I'll post a link for that after the call in the Stakehouse Discord. But this UI or this API will provide UI users in the future to possibly change their fee recipients' information in a UI instead of having to deal with the CLI. And I'm sure great projects like DAppNode and Stereo will try to use these kinds of features provided by the consensus teams to give that feature to their users as well.
This is probably going to lead us to this MEV discussion as well, right? So the fee recipient address is one point, but MEV is another point post-merge, especially for validators, right?
Yeah, that's right. So going into that kind of discussion, the fee recipient is going to be a core piece of MEV. Why sort of MEV exists, and I will go ahead and sort of share my screen here so that people are aware. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is the docs page on the ethereum.org talking about MEV, maximal extractable value. It was previously known as miner extractable value for proof of work, but the idea behind this is miners or validators have a lot of power. So when they're lucky enough to be the ones that create the block, they get to choose which transactions go in and which transactions don't go in. And usually they're incentivized through the gas, the tips that are added in the transaction fees. And post merge, this is going to be going to continue for better or for worse. And so there are these other applications such as flashbots that try to get you as much of this MEV as it can. So as a solo staker, depending on if you want to do this, I'm sure the ETH staker community would be able to help. There are good parts and bad parts to this. On the good side, it's getting you more money, right? But from, is it an ethical perspective or from a vision perspective, is this good for the network? That's a question. Because you have this power to, when you're proposing these blocks, to choose which transactions to include, that also means that you can essentially see if somebody else is getting um, some kind of value from their transaction and maybe include your own transaction that does the same thing instead. Um, so this article on the Ethereum.org site really talks about it. You can definitely take a look. Um, this concept of front running transactions, and it explains the concept of searchers. So searchers will try to find the best kinds of transactions out there and try to incentivize miners to include their transaction with a very high gas fees, sometimes getting very close to the amount of money that they would get if the transaction goes in. So they might give 90% to the miner just to get their transaction in. But it talks about the different kinds of opportunities here where MEV is sort of found. DEX arbitrage liquidations, sandwich tradings, NFTs that try to get to find the best price for NFTs and try to get those transactions in if there's some sort of slippage for that. Remy, how do you feel about it? How do you feel
Well,
about MEV?
I think one like easy way to explain this is post merge there will be money left on the table for the validators to take, and so validators will probably in most cases choose to take it. Like they'll be incentivized in a way to take that money, but maybe some people will reject it on principle because they don't like this idea of people being able to front run others, or like people being able to sandwich, censor, or like control all of these transactions and like the orders of all of these. And so we'll try to support everyone. So like if you want to take the MEV value as a validator, we'll try to give you guys all the details that you need to get configured on your own machine, and so that you can get that money. But if you don't want it, we'll help you as well, and we will respect what decision you choose there.
Yeah, that's perfectly put, Remy. So we can't sort of actively support this, but we can't also ignore this as well. The honest truth is a lot of the transactions in the network are caused by MEV. Like somebody wants to get that arbitrage opportunity, or do some kind of financial, almost like a financial meta game here. And so the consensus client teams can't ignore this. And post merge, one of the features that's being added, some of you may have heard of the builder APIs. So you could actually, instead of using the execution client to build your block, you can have another software build it, usually something that will try to find this MEV for you. And it will it can connect to that. So that's also one of the big features coming post merge.
I think that's a good summary of what's going to be needed for merge and what's going to happen with MEV after the merge as well. Thanks for letting us know, James. We had a question from the YouTube chat. Sergio was asking if there's any other solo staking guides besides the summary sets. And I believe the answer is yes. So there's this other guy from CoinKishu, which is very good as well. And we have a bunch of different tools that can help you get started on staking. Some of these tools are mentioned on the Ethereum.org website that I mentioned previously. But then his follow-up question was how to transition from staking on testnet to going and staking on mainnet. And like some of the people already answered that question in the chat, but I'll just reiterate the answers here. You should probably just wipe out your testnet settings or like configs and just start from scratch again. If you want to be proactive, you can try to do the voluntary exit, which is a nice process that can inform the network that your validator is exiting. So that's a good, healthy way of like leaving a testnet, but it's not required. You can just scratch everything and start again. So that was the question that we had. But I believe we still have one point to talk about in this whole conversation today is, and that one is about client diversity and Lodestar. So let me go ahead and share my screen again here. Just share it with James as well. There you go. So this next talk here is about client diversity. So we had a new update on this website, clientdiversity.org. If you don't know about it, I'll paste the link in the chat as well. So this will show you what are the current running clients on the network. And we had an update from Michael Sproul from the Sigma Prime team, where they just updated their, I don't think it was their method, but more about like they did a new update of like the recent change on the network. And as you can see now, Prism is no more running more than 50% of the network, which is pretty good. It's not that we don't like Prism. Prism is a great consensus client. It's just that it has a potential negative effect if everyone's running the same client on the network. But now you can see that Lighthouse is starting to be in the danger zone. So if you are currently running Lighthouse, you should maybe consider running one of the other minority client and migrating to something else. That leads me to this discussion about the four major consensus clients that we have currently, which are Prism, Lighthouse, Teku, and Nimbus. We have a new consensus client called Lodestar, and if you haven't heard about it, you should definitely check it out. I had a great video on Monday with Phil from ChainSafe, where we went through a guide on how to set up Lodestar on Praetor. But you can use that guide to set up your own node on mainnet as well. So whoever's running Lodestar right now on mainnet, and there's very few, according to this data here, there's only 0.01% of the people running Lodestar. You should definitely consider it. It also leads me to these discussions about the execution client. So right now, most of the miners are running Geth, and very little peoples are running all the other different execution client. And that's not such a big deal right now, but after the merge, it's gonna start to be more important to run diverse execution client as well. So if you're running Geth right now on your own setup, you should consider migrating to one of these other minority execution client. And I'm guilty there because I also run Geth, and so eventually I'll have to migrate to. I believe we had a few questions in the chat before we leave everyone. Baker asks, can we go over key generation? That's the biggest fear that we have. Maybe we could, like, key generation is not such a hard thing to do. There's like two main tools to do so. And if I go back to ethereum.org, I believe there was a place here. There's the official staking deposit CLI tool that you can use. But there's also these other tools, FDO and Wagyu Keygen. I'm one of the author of Wagyu Keygen. So if you If you want to use Wago Keygen, it works pretty well, and it's actually just a thin layer on top of the official staking deposit CLI. But you should probably generate those keys on an offline computer just to make sure that no one can steal them. But yeah, that's pretty much how you should go about generating your own keys. And I believe that concludes our call for today. James, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Hi, thanks for having me. I think we're going to have more discussion on the merge as we get closer.
Absolutely, yeah.
With running your own execution client, fee recipients again, MEV. But if you guys have any topics that you want us to cover, definitely post it in our Discord in the ETH Staker Discord under Stakehouse.
Yep.
And we will try to set up something for our next call.
I think that's pretty much it. Thanks to you guys for joining, and we hope to see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.